Hey y'all, it's Crystal. Thanks for coming by today. Just another fun little video today where I'm doing some book recommendations for a specific K-pop group. So this time we're going to tackle 17. Da, 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 da. Now, a couple of these members were a little tricky, so I definitely put a little thought into it, but I really have enjoyed doing a couple of these in the past. And I'll link the couple I've done before. I did horror books for BTS, and I've done some book recommendations for ATs. So this time, yeah, like I said, we're going to be tackling 17. So 17, definitely one of my all-time favorite groups. Per my sort of Spotify Wrapped, I think three or four of my top favorite songs of the year were 17 songs. My most played song of the year, I think, was Super by 17. Yeah, so it was a 17 year for me. But yeah, I love 17. So 17 are a 13 member group, so we got a lot to talk about today. We got a lot of members to get through. So they have been around since 2015. So definitely, have a long, list of songs you can listen to and content to watch if you. I don't want to get into 17. I highly recommend that you do. They are a lot of fun. Chaos. They are complete chaos, and I love them so much. So let's dig into it because, yeah, 13 members. So what I'm going to do is going to recommend them a book to read, and then, as I did in the ATs video, a book that I would like to buddy read with that member, because a girl can dream. Or let's hop in. No particular order. We're going to start with S.Coups, though, my bias of 17, and really my all-time favorite, my all-time alt bias for K-pop. He is the leader of the group. He is amazing. He is wonderful. But S.Coups, yeah, like I said, he's the oldest member as well. So, I mean, and with the leader, being a leader of a 13-member group, he definitely has, has a lot, there's a lot to deal with, but he handles it really well sometimes. But anyway, S.Coups, we love him. So a book that I would recommend, when I was thinking about what I think he would like to read, I thought that he would like really sort of interesting, plot-driven stories, not necessarily plot-driven, character-driven stories that involve a slight mystery, a bit of like something that makes you think a little bit, a bit of twists and turns, and kind of wonder where things ended up. Does that make sense? Because I feel like he would like to think about kind of things like that. So the book I'm recommending him is The Good Son by You-Jeong. This is a Korean story, but it's really interesting and a bit psychological. So basically, this young man wakes up, and what we learn about him is he's someone that has like a seizure disorder, and so sometimes he definitely will have a seizure and wake up, oddly, that kind of thing. So it's a known thing with him. But this one particular day he wakes up and there's like sort of blood everywhere, and he's like, what's going on? And then he comes downstairs and his mother is dead. And so the story goes from there as we figure out, like, did he have anything to do with it? Because of course, if he had a seizure, like, he doesn't know. And so we spend like a few days with him as he is really trying to unravel the mystery of what happened to his mother. And it gets really good. It's a good one, you guys. One I would like to buddy read with him is A Simple Plan by Scott Smith. Still haven't got to this book. Just like crazy step back on this one. But I love this, the premise of this, and I feel like S.Coups would really like to get into the nitty gritty of this too. I feel like it's probably twists and turns and backstabbing and secrets. Yeah, it just sounds really good. So it all sounded so simple, but from the moment their plan is set in motion, Hank Mitchell's well-ordered life spins out of control, sending him on a downward spiral of deceit, treachery, and blackmail. Total chaos leading to the unthinkable. Cold-blooded murder. Doomed to keep the secret of the money safe, Hank will kill and kill again, helped by the most calculated accomplice of us all, his pregnant wife, Sarah. So it goes from there. Well, I think this group of guys stumble on some money without camping or hiking or something, I don't know. And they try to keep it, and as we all know, that's always a really bad idea. So it just sounds really good. I've heard amazing things about this. I think it's been turned into a movie. I don't remember the movie either. But this is just what I've been wanting to get to for a long time. I haven't got to it, start my life. But I feel like S.Coups really like the sort of intrigue and the like I said, the sort of twists and turns and the secrets and the chaos of it all, because 17 is chaos. So yeah, Simple Plan. I would like to buddy read that with S.Coups. Okay, let's talk about Jeonghan. So Jeonghan is another older member of the group. He's part of the three older members, and Jeonghan is kind of an odd character. He's incredibly beautiful. He has a really distinct singing voice, like you know when Jeonghan is singing. You know, he's just got a very interesting singing voice, and he's just kind of a quirky guy, and I don't know. He's just a super interesting fellow. Like, he's someone I would really like to sit down and have like dinner with and just chat with, you know, because you never know what he's gonna say. And he's just stunningly beautiful, of course. But when I was thinking about what he would like to read, I was kind of thinking he would really like maybe some books that have maybe some quirky characters in them, but also I think like a little bit of fantasy too, like a layer of fantasy through the stories with some beautiful writing. I feel like he would be someone that would appreciate sort of like lyrical, you know, beautiful writing. And so when I was thinking about books, I thought he would appreciate The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. And this is such an interesting book, and I think it's one that Jeonghan would like. How do you even explain this? So what's involved? There's like, you know, books and libraries. We're following a man. What was his name again? Yeah, Zachary, and he gets sort of transported to the shores of the Starless Sea, but it's sort of like this underground kind of realm, and he just has this sort of call to go there, and he's pulled there by this kind of mysterious book that he finds, like I say, in a library. The story goes from there. It's, you know, on the chunkier side, so there's a lot going on in here. It's super interesting, you know, kind of weird at times. Like I said, quirky characters, beautiful writing. Erin Morgenstern just writes beautifully. Yeah, very beautifully. So I really think Jeonghan might get into this. There's a lot happening in here. Worth a read. So a book that I would like to buddy read with him is a newer book that I was one of my books of the month. Is Starling Haus by Alix Harrow. Beautiful cover here. I think he would appreciate the aesthetics of the cover. I read What's the Future Witches by Alix Harrow and loved it. So I definitely want to read more by the author. Let's see. So Opal is a lot of things: orphan, high school dropout, full-time cynic, part-time cashier, but above all, she's determined to find a better life for her younger brother Jasper. And Jeonghan, being an older member of 17, has you know, 11 younger brothers. One that gets them out of Eden, Kentucky, a town remarkable for only two things: bad luck and Starling, the reclusive 19th century author of The Underland, who disappeared over 100 years ago. All she left behind were dark rumors and her home. Everyone agrees that it's best to ignore the uncanny mansion and its misanthropic heir, Arthur. Almost everyone, anyway. So Opal has been obsessed with the Underland since she was a child, and she gets a chance to step into Starling Haus and to make some extra cash, so which we have established that she needs. But sinister forces digging deeper into the buried secrets of the house, and our Arthur's own nightmares have become far too real. Are there ghosts? What's going on in here? It sounds like, yeah, a bit fantastical, a bit spooky. I don't know. It sounds pretty great to me, and it's something I think Jeonghan would get into. Okay, Joshua. Well, Joshua's a romantic. He just is. He's a really sweet person, and he's just a romantic at heart. I mean, that's just all there is to it. And so I really would think he would like, what's the name of the book? Spoiler alert. Oh my God. Spoiler alert by Olivia Dade. This is a really sweet romance, and it kind of has this fan and actor kind of relationship going on, which I think Joshua would kind of get a kick out of. And so yeah, it's kind of fun. So essentially we've got our main character is she's a plus size woman too, which we love to see it. But she's also sort of like a cosplayer, and she was not caught, but a picture of her was sort of circulating, making the rounds of cosplaying the show that someone from the show that this actor was part of. It sounds like it's kind of like a Game of Thrones type of show, like a big, you know, kind of fantasy type of show. And so things happened, and like there was a picture online, and like the actor like commented on it, and it was like thing like they went on this sort of like date, which was really just kind of a setup by the company and all that kind of stuff. But you know, lo and behold, you know, they really like each other, and you know, things happen, and it was just, I don't know, it was really good. Just a lot of conversations here about for fandoms, I think, which I think Joshua, I think we kind of find, you know, would find it kind of funny and interesting, and like relate to that. And the characters here are really complex, and the main female lead, I really liked her a lot, and even the male lead, he wasn't just the shallow actor guy. He definitely struggles with I think it was dyslexia, so we see that present itself. I mean, it's just really good. It was just really, 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 really sweet romance that I really enjoyed, and they definitely got a little spicy at times too, which was good. Now, a book that I would like to buddy read with him is Love is in Sight. This is a manga by, is it Uoyama, and the art as well. So this is volume 1. It's one I've been wanting to read, but I just hadn't gotten to. That seems like a really sweet romance, and you know, basically, I think these folks meet, but she's actually blind, and I think he's kind of like bumbling as a way, you know, to try to how to kind of interact with her, and I think he, you know, makes some mistakes along the way, but you know, they just really like each other, and the story goes from there. So I think this one just sounds really cute and sweet, and I think I would love to buddy read it with Joshua, please. All right, let's talk about Wonwoo. If you've been around for a little while, I did a reading vlog where I read books like, kind of recommended by Wonwoo. Wonwoo is known as being it reads a lot, and I really had a lot of fun with that vlog. I'll link it below if you're interested in kind of checking out the kind of books that Wonwoo likes to read. But one thing he does like to read is kind of like crime, kind of thrillery type books. So I've got a couple of those that I think he might be interested in. First up is The Undesired by Yrsa Sigurdardottir. I feel like he would appreciate, you know, reading from, you know, different, you know, countries and things like that. As a refresher here, so Alix is working in a juvenile detention center when she witnesses something deeply disturbing in the middle of the night. Decades later, single father and widower Odin is looking into alleged abuse at the center. The more he finds out, though, the more it seems the odd events of the past are linked to the present. And yeah, so we've got we definitely have a dual timeline here of the past, which I think is was it the 1970s? I think it was, maybe even earlier. I can't remember now. This kind of boys kind of school, and where they sent kind of like troublemaker type boys, you know, and this sort of young woman that was working there who was just trying to, you know, get a job and stuff like that, and things that happened there, and then how that affects things in the past, and secrets and twists and turns. It was really excellent. Yrsa Sigurdardottir is an Icelandic author, and I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really great. This is translated from the Icelandic by Victoria Cribb. So I think it's one that it's not like too grim and gory, but you know, it's just kind of pulls you in with the storyline enough to think that Wonwoo would be really interested in that. So I think he would give it a go at least. So a book that a book that I would like to buddy read is Bathhouse by PJ Vernon. I don't know why I haven't read this book. I mean, I want to read this book. Look, it's like hot pink. Anyway, I'm looking at it now. I want to read it. So what I know is, I don't want to read too much about it. From what I remember of this book, I think we've got like a gay couple, like two guys, and one of them goes into a bathhouse, and I think like maybe gets attacked or assaulted or something like that, and maybe kills somebody. I don't know, somebody's dead, I think, and he like leaves because he doesn't want to get caught, I guess, you know, cheating on his man. So yeah, I think it goes from there. There are definitely like secrets, twists and turns. It sounds amazing. Why haven't I read this book yet? I don't know. Wonwoo, let's read it together. I think we're gonna get kicked out of this one because, ooh, it seems juicy. Yeah, this sounds great. Yeah. Okay, next up, Mingyu. Everybody loves Mingyu. Mingyu is just like a sweet teddy bear. He's like 6 feet tall, but like he's just cuddly Woodley. Everybody loves Mingyu. And but Mingyu is a chicken, so I can't recommend him any horror because he will not be able to take it. Yeah, big baby, but he is soft and cuddly, so I thought he would like a book recommendation that, you know, a bit horror-ish, maybe like to test the waters, you know, like, come on, like you gotta kind of face your fears kind of thing, but it's still like really, really fun. So Meddling Kids by Edgar Cantero, I thought would be really fun for him. It's got cosmic vibes, Scooby-Doo vibes, but you know, thrown in with some horror. So it's a group of friends. I think Mingyu, as someone you would want to be friends with, I think he was a good friend. He seems like that way. He comes across that way as just being a really good friend. And so I think you would like this friend group up here. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of, you know, this group of kids like in high school were kind of like Scooby-Doo. They were like, you know, investigating things that were happening in their little town. And then we pick up some years later, like something that has come back from their past, and so they're getting the gang back together again and figuring it out, and it just goes from there. Like I said, it's bonkers, it's silly, it's fun, it's just a plain fun book, and even though there are horror bits to it, it's something I think Mingyu would have fun with because, you know, it's horror-ish, but it's also fun. You know what I mean? So I think he would. I think he should at least give it a try. A book that I would like to buddy read with him is one that I've heard does contain a good friendship. Again, what I think he would really appreciate as someone who I think is, you know, like I said, a pretty good friend, is Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Oh, I know, I still haven't read this book either. But from what I know about it, we've got two friends who I think create like a video game or something like that. And you know, I think it's a guy and a girlfriend. I'm not sure, but you know, I think it's just friendships, and it's sort of their life, sort of a span of their friendship. I'm sure things, you know, have their ups and downs, and I think it's sort of centered around this video game, if I'm remembering this right. But from what I heard, like I said, it just has a really good friendship at the center of the story, and so I think Mingyu would really appreciate that, and I've heard nothing but good things about this for the most part, so yeah, I think Mingyu would like that, and I sure would love to buddy read it with them. Yes. Okay, next up is Seung-kwan. So Seung-kwan is lovely. You can't not love Seung-kwan, I think. But he had kind of like a rough year last year, 2023. So I wanted to recommend him some things that would challenge him, because I also feel like he would read some things that were not challenging, but like have a bit of complexity to them, not necessarily like crazy psychological deep dives or anything like that, but just have interesting characters and like I said, just a little bit of sort of complexity to them, right? With some really interesting characters and stories. And so when I was thinking of books that he might like to buddy read, it would be The Dreamers, or not buddy read, I wrote book recommendation for him, words, is The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker. I love this book. I love this. It was one of my favorite books when I read the year I read it, 2019, 2020, I can't remember quite now, but it's so good. So we're set in this sort of small college town in California, and you're following the students as they're coming back to school and things like that, and then sort of all of a sudden, like, students sort of start falling asleep and they're not waking up, and it sort of kind of spreads almost like a virus through the college and even the sort of surrounding kind of small town. And then as this town is just locked down totally to sort of prevent the spread, because it seems like it's kind of like a virus type of thing that, you know, spreads around. And but they go to sleep, and but you know, they're not dead. I mean, they're sleeping, but they're obviously having like dream activity. So there's definitely things about dreams in here, about sort of conscious state and humanity, and then surrounded by kind of how we handle this type of situation as you know, as a society, and then just sort of the humanity of how different characters deal with this as they're inside kind of the bubble and outside of the bubble of what's going on. It's maybe sounds kind of weird, but it's really wonderful. I love Karen Thompson Walker's. I've read a couple of her books and I love them. I really need to read more, but highly recommend this one. It's so good. And I kind of think Seung-kwan would like some complexity to the story as well. And then I kind of, because he did have a rough year with the loss of a really good friend of his last year, I kind of wonder if you would like to buddy read this with me. What Dreams May Come by Richard Matheson. I know this deals with afterlife and so yeah, what happens to us after we die. Chris Nielsen had no idea until an unexpected accident cut his life short, separating him abruptly from his beloved wife Annie. So you must discover the true nature of life after death. But even heaven is not complete without Annie, and when tragedy threatens to divide him forever, Chris risks every soul to save Annie from eternity of despair. Can love bring together what heaven and hell have torn asunder? I really enjoy books that kind of look into an afterlife, as sort of different sort of imaginings of what happens to us after we die. This is one that definitely had been on my radar for a long time. I know it's a movie. I never watched it. I think Robin Williams was in it, right? I never watched it. I don't know. But it sounds interesting. I kind of feel like it's contemplative, and Seung-kwan would really, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a positive thinking book. Like I said, in his own dealings with grief, maybe would kind of help him kind of work through some of that. I don't know. I don't know him as a person. I'm just thinking I think it would be something that he seems like that he would enjoy, I guess is what I'm thinking. So I would love to read that with him. And yeah, I think it would be great. All right, Dino. Dino's the young guy. He's the youngest of the group. He's the teeny baby, and he's amazing. He just released like a little solo single last year. It was fantastic. He's a hell of a dancer. Oh my God, Dino. He's amazing. He's also funny as all hell. He makes me laugh, and he's just the cutest. I don't know. Everybody loves Dino. You can't not like Dino, okay? Everybody loves Dino. I thought that he would like really get down with the vibes of The Hobbit by JRR Tolkien. As the youngest of a big group of people, I feel like he would really go on this journey with like, how many, it's like 9 dwarves, I think, or something, and then like good Lord, Bilbo and Gandalf as they set on this journey of this, just, you know, a quest story with this like big group of people. I feel like he would like feel at home here, you know. Poor Dino just never, he's always get picked on as being the youngest, but again, everybody loves Dino. Yeah, so I feel like The Hobbit would feel like comfortable for him. And as far as buddy reading a book with him, kind of in the same sense, I feel like maybe he would enjoy The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, and I haven't read that either yet. It's one of the Gaimans I haven't got to yet. Because as a youngest member, as someone who, you know, was really young, of course, during his trainee days as well, all of 17 really was. And I'm talking like young, like 12 young, being on his own without his family, and 17 really became his family, and they took him in, you know, and picked on horrendously, but again, y'all in love, because you can't not love Dino. And so The Graveyard Book kind of gave me that feeling, you know, because what I know about the book is this little boy is kind of taken in by, you know, ghosts of this graveyard, I think after his parents maybe have passed away or something like that. And so he's kind of raised up by these ghosts and taken in with this kind of found family aspect. Some of the, you know, I think Dino would kind of see himself in, maybe perhaps, as you know, just someone that is being taken care of, as all of the older members of 17 have for Dino. So I think that would be really fun buddy read with Dino. Okay, Vernon. Vernon is kind of an enigma. Vernon, what does one say about Vernon? I don't know, because he is at times very serious seeming, and then sometimes just absolute goofball. He's a weirdo, I think, and I think that's why I identify with Vernon. You know, I think we could be like really true buds, because we're just let our weird flags fly, you know. So I think, but I also feel like, you know, maybe he would pull us to a bit kind of the spooky side of things, and maybe a little bit of the darker things, with some interesting characters. So I thought maybe he would like to read The Elementals by Michael McDowell. I feel like he would really like the horror bits of here. He's not one that's easily scared or anything. If you ever watch any of the Going 17 like scary episodes, he never flinches. And so yeah, he could definitely read some horror. And there are definitely some really creepy scenes in the Elemental that I think you would like. I think you'd also like the family aspect of this, because again, when you're a member of a 13-member group, you really become a family. So yeah. yeah. So, and we have this group of this sort of extended family that have these 3 houses out on the sort of Gulf Coast of Alabama, and so they're out there for the summer. But one of the houses has been slowly taken over, kind of by the sand, and things aren't what they seem, right? Family secrets, things like that come to play, and the elementals. And I think Vernon would have a really good time with it. I think to sort of get weird, I would like to read Shark Heart, but a love story by Emily Habeck with him. This sounds wonderfully weird, and I think so. For Lewis and Ren, their first year of marriage is also their last. A few weeks after their wedding, Lewis received a rare diagnosis. He will retain most of his consciousness, memories, and intellect, but his physical body will gradually turn into a great white shark. As Lewis develops the features and impulses of one of the most predatory creatures in the ocean, his complicated artist's heart struggles to make peace with his unfulfilled dreams. It goes from there. That's all I really ever want to read before going into this, because it sounds kind of delightful and, like I said, a little strange. Like, this man literally turned into a shark. There's a love story aspect, because they've just gotten married. I don't know, it sounds just kind of wonderfully weird, and one I think maybe Vernon would get into, because he does write songs about love. He writes a lot of songs for 17, and some of them are love songs. So I think he's got a lover inside. So I think we would have a really fun time buddy reading Shark Heart. So let's do it. Okay, next up. Oh my gosh, we're even halfway there. I don't do that. Okay, June. What again? Everybody loves June. He's amazing. June is so wonderful. He's a really introverted, quiet member though. So you gotta dig in to get to know June. You know what I mean? Like, he takes some work, I think, to get to know. And so from what I gather from June, even after years of kind of watching him, like, do I really know June? I don't know, but I feel like my heart is telling me that he's a science fiction lover. I don't know why. I just got this feeling from him. June likes science fiction, I think. And what I would like to really recommend for him is Children of the New World by Alexander Weinstein. This is a collection of short stories that are fantastic. They range from there's a story with AI and robots and like dealing with like what is human, what is not human. Oh, that was fantastic. There's this one story that's kind of a post-apocalyptic world where everything's covered in snow and there's like these remnants of humanity. That's what I remember in there. It's just a really great short story collection, and you can, all these guys are always busy, so he can read a story here and there. They've got this busy schedule, and get these little tastes of science fiction. It's a fantastic short story collection if you are looking maybe to dip a toe into science fiction. Maybe you're just not like, what do I even read for science fiction? If you want to get into it, I think this short story collection is a great place to start. Yeah. Now, what I would really like to buddy read with him is Crosstalk by Connie Willis. Slightly chunky, but I just haven't got to it yet. I haven't got read to any Connie Willis books yet, and I know her stories are science fiction stories usually with some romance involved, and I kind of feel like June is a bit of a romantic as well, kind of like Joshua, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like I always think maybe I'll unhaul this book because I hadn't read it yet. But then I read the synopsis again. I'm like, oh, I don't want to get rid of it. So let's see what this one is about. In the not too distant future, a simple outpatient procedure to increase empathy between romantic partners has become all the rage. And Bridie Flanagan is delighted when her boyfriend Trent suggests undergoing the operation prior to a marriage proposal to enjoy better emotional connection and a perfect relationship with complete communication and understanding. But things don't quite work out as planned, and Bridie finds herself connected to someone else entirely, in a way far beyond what she signed up for. So that's like all I need to know. It sounds kind of lovely. Again, this sort of play with, like, when science kind of goes awry almost, or love, like what is love, true love, that kind of stuff. It sounds kind of wonderful mixed with this, kind of science fiction plot. Yeah, I feel like I would really have a lot of fun with this because it sounds kind of lovely. I just need to read that book. I don't know. Okay, Minghao is next. Now, Minghao, well, again, everybody loves Ming-Hao, but he is someone who I find is probably really complicated. He just seems, again, just cool as shit. He just, for lack of a better word, I think he just seems really freaking cool. And he is a reader also. Reads like poetry and all kinds of stuff. He's definitely a reader also, appreciates the arts, and is a painter himself. So he's a creative type, you know. Like, he's a thinker. He likes to think. He likes to read things that kind of make him think. And I personally would be very interested to know what he would think of The Seventh Day by Yu. He may have already read it, because this is one of Wonwoo's book recommendations I read in that vlog. So he maybe Wonwoo got the recommendation from Ming-Hao. I don't know, but what I want to know, I would love to know Ming-Hao's perspective of this. For a couple different things. One, this deals again with an afterlife story. I would be very curious kind of what Ming-Hao thinks of an afterlife. I don't know. I would be very interested to know. We're following this guy Young Fei, who right at the beginning of the story, I talk about this a lot, I'm sorry, but he died, and so we're dealing with an afterlife for him, and what that looks like for him, essentially, through the story. But there's also some commentary of modern day China. So Ming-Hao is Chinese, so I would be very interested also in his perspective as someone who, though he spent mostly his childhood in China, I mean, kids know things. I would be curious about both his perspective of an afterlife and how this afterlife presents itself, in the book, and then this sort of commentary on China and kind of consumerism, how that's dealt with in the book too. So again, it's food for thought, lots to think about in this book, which I think Ming-Hao would find super interesting. And I would love to read Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell with him. This is a book that kind of intimidates me. I think it's why it's still sitting unread on my shelf. But it just sounds really interesting also. So, a postmodern visionary, master of style, Nabokovian love puzzles, a keen eye for character, a taste of mind-bending philosophical and scientific speculation in the tradition of Umberto Eco and Philip K. Dick. The result is brilliantly original fiction that reveals how disparate people connect, how their fates intertwine, and how their souls drift across time like clouds across the sky. I know there are like several different timelines through this, through different periods of time, historical up to futuristic. It sounds complicated and interesting with interesting characters. Talks about time and love, and it just sounds wonderful. But yeah, I'm also a little just intimidated by it. So, buddy reading intimidating books is a great way to get through them. So, and I think this would kind of spark some conversation that I would love to chat about with Ming-Hao over tea. Sounds great. Okay, a few more. Oh my god, sorry. Okay, Woozy. Okay, Woozy was one that I had a hard time picking books for. I gotta say, Woozy is hella smart. He's super smart. He writes a lot of the songs for 17 and does a lot of the producing for 17. As far as the songs themselves, he's a musical genius, yeah. But he's really fun. He is really funny, but also kind of serious at times too, because he takes himself seriously and he takes his job seriously, his work seriously. So I didn't really know what to recommend to him. I couldn't really think, but I thought maybe he would appreciate reading books about musicians and other things like that. So maybe that could be something that he would be interested in. So I thought maybe he would have fun with We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix as something fun to read, to kind of break that serious nature. Maybe he just looks for something fun in his free time. And We Sold Our Souls is a lot of fun. We're following this rock band, and yeah, We Sold Our Souls, like I said, there's possibly some selling of the soul to a demon and for fame and fortune, and what that means for this rock band. It's just a lot of fun, and I think Uzi would have fun with it to kind of de-stress from his day, you know what I mean? And kind of much in the same vein, Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill I would like to buddy read, because I still haven't read this book, but I know it also kind of involves a musician as well, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. There's no blurb on this, so I don't remember. I feel like there's a musician involved in here. But yeah, why not? Let's buddy read it, figure it, and see if I'm right or not. See if I'm remembering right or not. Don't you hate when they can't even put like a couple of sentences on here? Modern day ghost story, blah 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 blah. I don't know. I feel like it has a rock star vibe to it, but I don't remember it anyway. Okay. Okay. DK is a bright ray of sunshine. He is extrovert. He brings happiness everywhere he goes. He sings beautifully. He's a wonderful dancer. He's a beautiful person. He just brightens up a room. He will make you smile. If you're feeling down in the dumps, find some DK content to watch because you're guaranteed to smile after that. He's not afraid of looking absolutely silly to, like, you know, do the bit, you know what I mean? He's a comedian. DK is a delight. But I feel like in his reading that he would like more quiet stories, because though I feel like he is the sort of consummate showman, I feel like in his personal life that he would be just really chill and low key, you know what I mean? And he would like maybe kind of a bit serious type stories, or some drama, like some high drama. That's how I feel anyway. So I would recommend him The Dutch House by Ann Patchett. This is a beautiful story about a family and their connection to the Dutch house. And we're following two children that used to live in the house but no longer live in the house, but the house is still occupied, is being occupied now by someone else. We go kind of backwards and forwards in time, and learning what went on with this family and why they're no longer living in the Dutch house. It's just stunningly beautiful. It's this beautiful, beautiful book with really, it gets emotional. It's just stunning. It's a stunning book, and I think DK would really appreciate it. Now this one, I haven't read yet, so I don't know how emotional it really gets, but the Cartographers by Peng Shepherd is something that I think DK maybe would be interested in, because it seems a bit of a quieter type of story with some interesting characters. So Neil Young's whole life and greatest passion is cartography. Her father, Dr. Daniel Young, is a legend in the field and Neil's personal hero, but she hasn't seen or spoken to him ever since he cruelly fired her and destroyed her reputation after an argument over an old cheap gas station highway map. But then the father is found dead in his office at the New York Public Library with the same seemingly worthless map hidden in his desk. So she can't resist investigating, and she discovers that the map is incredibly valuable and exceedingly rare. In fact, she may now have the only copy left in existence, because a mysterious collector has been hunting down and destroying every last one, along with anyone who gets in the way. But why? Story goes from there. Like I said, it just sounds like a really interesting story with characters. There's a family aspect here with some drama that's bound to pop up, I think, as you're reading this, that I think DK would probably kind of cling to. I feel like this would be something he would enjoy, and we would have a lot of fun reading it together. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, we were at the last person. Oh my gosh. Okay. And we're at Hoshi. Hoshi is another, kind of like DK, is he's just a bright ray of sunshine. He will bring a smile to your face. He dances like nobody's business. Oh my gosh, he's a dancing machine. He is high energy, everything. He is just, wow. He's Hoshi. And yeah, I love him. But in reading, I felt like he would like fast-paced books. You know what I mean? He's going to need to read it. He's going to need something kind of short, sweet, quick, but interesting. And yeah. He's kind of like Mingyu, though, too. He's kind of a bit of a chicken when it comes to scary things. So I thought I wanted to test, push his limits a little bit with a slasher. Slashers are usually really fast-paced, that kind of thing. I think it's slasher sometimes have like a different vibe than like a straight up horror movie, so maybe he could handle a slasher. So I would Taste Like Candy by Ivy Tholen is what I would recommend, because this is a really fun slasher. It's a really interesting friend group. Again, 70 is a big group of friends and family. that I think he would appreciate, and it's got some interesting kills. We're following this group of, high school students as they're making their way through this Halloween carnival as slashing ensues. It's just fun. It's one I really enjoyed. I think some people don't like Taste Like Candy, but it's one I just had a hell of a lot of fun with. Again, it's fast-paced, breeze through it. I think Hoshi would have a lot of fun with it. Another one I think it just sounds like kind of crazy bonkers, kind of wild, would be really fun to buddy with him, is Crazy Food Truck. Yeah, this is a manga, so it would be something quick that he could get through, but also just kind of bonkers wild, which I think is like right up his alley, is bonkers wild. So Gordon is a gruff middle-aged cook running a food truck in a sand-covered wasteland when he encounters Yrsa, a naked girl sleeping in the middle of nowhere. He takes on the unintended traveling companion and her unexpected appetite. Too bad she also has unexpected baggage, an armed militia hot on her tail. Fasten your seatbelts for a post-apocalyptic cooking and violent mayhem on this crazy food truck road trip. That just sounds like so much fun to me, and I think Hoshi and I would just have a ball making our way through the series. This is book 1. I don't know how many are in the series, but I just think it just sounds like a hoot. It just sounds like so much fun. And I think Hoshi would have a lot of fun with that. He's a crazy guy. Well, that's it. 13 members of 17. We did it. Let me know if any of these books sounds, interesting, and ones that you might want to pick up, because at the end of the day, it's just fun, right? So yeah, thanks for watching, and let me know if you're a 17 member, who's your bias, favorite 17 songs. Let me know, because I want to know. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're doing well, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, bye. Hold on. Hey, bye.